What's up, everybody? You know what it is. It is the one and only Fix After Show, episode 3. So, Sevvy, we find out, has an underground railroad. Wolf pressures his ex to generate an alibi, and Jules pays off a goon to fight with Gabe. Let's go. Let's get it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Let it begin, ladies and gentlemen. As I stated before, it is the one and only Fix After Show. And I'm here with Angele Taylor, who is turning her phone down.
Yes.
But she just got it done. What's up, Angele?
Hey, guys. Sorry about that.
It's all good. You know, we're just getting ready for the live chat for all the fans jumping in. We got some new panelists up in the building. Zuri Chelise is with us.
Woo-hoo!
Hi, everyone.
What's up, Zuri? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, man. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
And right next to her is holding it down, the anchor, Bethanie Jean is with us.
Bethanie.
What's up, Bethanie?
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
I'm so good.
So good.
So
I'm
good.
glad. So, ladies, because I'm only gentlemen, what do you think about this episode? Give me your thoughts.
I think this was like the first episode I was really sold the story. I feel like the other ones I was kind of like, oh, I can kind of see through
On the
this.
fence a little bit. Okay.
Like now I'm solid.
Okay.
I'm invested.
Okay. I like that. I like that. What do you think, Bethany?
I agree. I mean, it was just twists and turns. The whole episode, way more than the first two. I feel like the first two were honestly a little bit slower. Not uninteresting, but
Right.
there were just so many of the parallels with the OJ case.
Right.
You know, and you were kind of like, okay, we know where this is going. And in this
Right.
episode, you were like, what? Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think, Angele?
So I was not a Sevvy fan, but now I'm so convinced that he didn't do it.
That he didn't do
I'm
it.
so convinced
Really?
now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was actually wondering that. I was wondering, does anyone here think he's innocent?
I do.
I do
do.
too.
Well, this time.
This time.
Not the first two murders, but this one for sure. I think so.
You said that before.
I'm
You
gonna
felt like
stick
you did
with
it
it.
again. Okay. And you feel like this is your indication that he did not do it, for sure.
I don't think he did it.
Okay.
Really?
I feel like when the last episode ended, and that's when he goes to who we know now as Dia, and he goes there as like, you killed her, you know, and all this kind of stuff. At that point, that's when I felt like he didn't do it. Because my thing is like, there's nobody around him. He makes a beeline to her, right? He looks very convincing, you know, saying that, why did you do this type situation. So I was like, okay, he didn't do it. Even though I'm still not a fan of his, because I still
Yeah.
think he's dirty
Yeah.
and he's slimy, and I think he still has some skeleton in his past that we're going to see come up, you know, later on. But, you know, I think we can all agree that he didn't do it, but then it's like, who did? And that's the part we got to get to. I mean, we still got time to get there. One of the things is we see when we start the episode, we see that there's a lot of friction between Maya and Wolf, right? They are going at it heavily, and they have been since day one because, you know, Wolf is holding down his client, and Maya wants him gone, wants him, you know, to basically be convicted of this crime. But do you think, you know, when we see her come up and she has the recording, do you think that that was a good move on her part?
No, I think she just ruined her whole case.
Thank you.
my
I felt the same way. I was like, what are you doing?
Like, don't tell the enemy your plan. What are you
Right.
doing? Save that for the courtroom.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so he can go back and like tie up the loose ends.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just make it easier, like smarter, not harder. You don't have
Yeah.
to divulge everything right now. She's ego tripping right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. I really want to get into this because I want to get your take on it. So throughout the episode, prior to this, we know that the episode starts, right? And Matthew goes over to Maya where she's staying outside of LA, of course. And where was she living at? Do you remember? It was somewhere, somewhere
country.
in the country with horses, with her cowboy
With the
man.
rib.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cowboy dude. And so she's living her best life, right? She left 8 years prior because, you know, the case, it was high profile and it, you know, blew her up. So she was like, I'm out. And so he comes, he's like, yo, he did it again. and that's how we see, their interaction. So up to this point, for me, and you guys can tell me differently, I thought it was literally just a platonic situation. They work together. They're coming back to working together. We find out this episode
I didn't think that.
there was
never
some.
thought
Oh,
that.
you never thought that? Okay,
I
maybe that
thought
was just me.
From the second they laid out eyes on each other, I was like, that's an
Oh,
ex-boyfriend.
yeah.
Oh, when he came to go
yeah.
get her?
From
Yes.
the very
Really?
first, yeah.
You did not catch that? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, the body language, the eye contact, the tension.
Yeah. Like a familiar tension.
I just thought it was maybe because I'm a guy and I wasn't paying that much attention to it. I thought the tension was because of them working together.
Even in the second episode, I picked up something between those two.
Really?
Over the phone, they're awkward. So
And even just the way his wife looks uncomfortable.
Right.
yes,
Just kind of, to me, was like a sign that this is an ex-girlfriend.
Well, that was Effie.
Yes,
And she was also uncomfortable. But remember when we saw her, her thing was like, look, don't get sucked back in. You know what this did to you all, way back then. Don't get sucked up. She was really not happy that she was working with him. And I just took it as she just didn't want him to get back into that case because she knew how it was before and how it affected him. She was a reporter, and that's how they ended up getting together. But now we see that obviously there's more because when she talks to him, Maya talks to Matthew, talking about the sting operation or what have you, and she's like, "Are you good? Are you okay?" And kind of just checking him, basically like, "Look, don't be going down that road again."
right.
So I don't know. I didn't see it before. I saw it this time.
Wait a minute. But in the first episode, they were both throwing a little shade at each other because he was like, "So you're with the cowboy now?" And she's like, "Oh, but you married the news reporter now?"
Yeah.
Like they both were coming for each other with their significant other
That's true.
choices.
Yeah.
That's
So I mean, that right there alone,
Which
enough said.
doesn't come from former coworkers. That comes from former lovers.
Yeah, but
Former
also,
coworkers don't care who you're married to, or
I feel like in the
know.
beginning we did see that, but I feel like as the episodes go on, it seems more one-sided. I don't know if Max is really invested as much as Maya may
Matthew?
be. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this episode kind of solidified it for me because he gave her that strong eye contact. Like, first of all, he brought up Portos. Congratulations. You did that.
Can you
Shout
bring
out
us
to
some
Portos.
Portos?
Shout
I
out
know.
to the Portos.
Shout out to
Burbank.
Portos.
That's my
Man,
joint.
them cheese blitzes go hard.
No, boo. The mashed potato balls
Those are good too.
with the meat inside.
Those are good too.
You
but-
got to have the meat inside or you did it wrong.
Yeah, those are good too.
The chicken kind of not a fan of.
I haven't had the
Anyways,
chicken.
I digress. I really saw a strong adoration and like he wants her, and then he kind of like put the nail in the coffin when he says, "I didn't know it would be this hard to work with you again."
Yeah.
He's like, "Gosh, like how tempting is this?" And then grabs her hand.
Yeah.
First, the hand was a little close, and then he just went
Super
ahead and did
inappropriate.
a little grab, and I was like, okay.
I saw that.
Watch it,
I saw that.
because
I saw that.
Effie, she probably got eyes on it, so watch
Yes.
out, Maya.
Well, she definitely has eyes. She is not happy that they're even working together because obviously it's easy to slip back into that. And who knows if they do end up, and the way they're showing it now because they're so overt with it now, because before, like I said, I didn't catch it, but they are very overt with it. They're letting us know that this is actually happening. My question to you is, and this, it's a little bit of a prediction, but we can talk about it now. Do you think that they're going to get together again?
Okay, let me give a shout out real quick in the live chat. Watcher Carter is saying, first of all, let's go back. He says that he does not think Sevvy did it this time. This time. And then he also says that he thought they were a couple too. I guess he's talking about Matthew and Maya. They were a thing. And then he also says the wife knows.
The wife knows.
The wife knows.
Okay. Oh, that they got together before.
Effie knows that. I mean, I'm guessing from Watcher Carter that he's saying that there could be a thing again. So she's on the lookout. She's very defensive.
For sure. Oh, for
Very
sure.
defensive.
For sure. Absolutely. So do you think that they're going to get together again?
I don't think so. I think
don't
he's
think
going to
so?
stay faithful. I think she's going to try it, though, because she doesn't seem to be as tied
Attached
to Riv.
To her cowboy,
Well,
who we
she's
see in the
straight
next
up.
episode,
Yeah.
is getting a visit.
And she was very clear when she's like, "Oh, you're married." The news anchor, and he said, "Oh, you married a cowboy?" And she's like, "I'm not married."
Right.
Boom.
Yeah.
I
Straight
feel like
that.
she was already like,
Oh.
"I'm not."
There's a little
I'm not
wiggle
on
room for
lockdown.
me.
Right.
But I don't see a ton of affection coming towards him from her personally.
Right.
I almost feel more tension on his end, and I don't know if I'm perceiving that wrong, but even with the whole eye to eye thing, like he reached for her hand, and he's the one that's married.
Right. True. It could be more on his end. It could be more on his end, but
I don't like that.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more about it. But before we get into our next topic, let's see, Zuri, you have something to tell our fans.
Yes, I do. Hey, guys, I just want to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. Make sure you like this show and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave a comment and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. AfterBuzz TV means so much to us, and all of us are on different shows, so be sure to follow us to keep up with all things TV.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Zuri. That was great.
Hey.
All right, so let's talk about this mistress, Dia. She was all throughout this episode. They left off the last episode with him confronting her. We get to know more about her. First of all, I don't like her. I'm just gonna put that. I'm just putting that out there right now. I do not like Dia. I think she makes some stupid moves. Her still in the car. I mean, well, let's just start from the beginning. We find her, and basically, Maya goes to her, confronts her. She's like a DJ or something.
Yes.
Boo. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, it didn't match. And then, she's saying like, oh, he didn't do that. She's kind of riding for her man, even though she's a side piece, but whatever. And so CJ and Maya end up questioning her at the station and just trying to get some things out of her. Long story short, they end up having her wear a wire to talk to Sevvy to get some information, right? And so this girl, she goes to the hotel where they're supposed to meet, has the wire on, but then gets, a moment of clarity or something. I call it stupidity. She then takes and writes on a little board, and granted, this is not her first rodeo, because for her to even think about that, like, oh, I'm wearing a wire, I got to be careful what I say, I feel like she's dirty too, but that's just my little hood opinion. But she writes on the little board, trying to tell, exactly, whatever, and trying to basically alert him. Yeah. We see a figure walk. It's not Sevvy.
She's an idiot.
It's right. It's his goon. Then she freaks out because she finds out she's getting dumped. Like, even though she's supposed to be exposing him, she finds she's getting dumped. Then she leaves, and then she steals a car. I'm just going to stop right there. What do you guys think about her? Because I've clearly given my piece.
Yeah. I'm a little confused because I guess I missed, like, once Sevvy showed her, I have a burner phone, that wasn't me. Why didn't she continue to tell him I'm wearing a wire? I guess I missed, like, she was accusing him of breaking up with her. And then once she found out that it wasn't him, why didn't she continue? Why didn't she say, okay, he's not breaking up with me. Let me tell him I have on a wire. Like, I guess I just missed why she changed her story.
Oh, why she had to change
it,
her?
girl. That's why
she's
okay,
whack.
She's a yo-yo. She's teeter-tottering, straddling the fence. She doesn't know if she's coming or going. Yeah. I don't like her either.
Yeah, boom.
I feel like she's just the perfect picture of, no offense, but to a dumb girl.
Yes.
Like a dumb girl side piece that thinks they're bigger than they are and doesn't really know.
For you to roll up at this man's house with the paparazzi out front.
Dramatic.
In a stolen car.
So
in
dramatic.
a stolen car.
Right.
Demands he let you in with your tramp dress on and your clear hooker heels.
With your tramp dress.
So I'm just like, I'm so confused by her decision-making process as you wear this wire.
Right. I feel like this is the whole thing. I feel like this is why she had to change heart, to kind of go back to what you were saying. I feel like when she started talking, she found out he didn't necessarily wanted to break up. It was actually Wolf that was doing this, and Wolf did this. I think she thought, like, okay, well, if Wolf is doing this because he's trying to keep me away from you,
right.
Maybe you did do something. And now he told her about the Underground Railroad and all this kind of stuff.
Sketchy stuff.
And so I think she's like, oh, well, let me expose him because he is maybe dirty, because it's Wolf's is nice to do all this stuff, keep me away, and then also lie, told him, he told her about the whole situation with the doctor, the alibi. So I think she literally was just like, okay, I think he is dirty. Let me stick with the plan. That's where I thought her moment of clarity was. But I still think she's whack because still, like, all the stuff she went through, it was like, dude, you didn't need to do all of that.
No.
Like, for her still in the car, that was the worst part ever. The valet
I'm the
taking
only one
the key.
that loved it.
I hated that.
I was like, this girl was so ridiculous and kind of borderline annoying, kind of. But when she stole the car, I was like, oh, she's crazy. I kind of like her now. Like,
You
she's
like that
not
she's
just,
crazy.
Like, she's not just like a dumb dramatic side piece. Like, she's a crazy girl.
crazy-
I thought it was kind of funny.
She's
Dramatic
impulsive.
side. Super impulsive. And my thing is, you steal a car to go to his house, knowing that they're following you, and then knowing that there's paparazzi there, and you're just demanding to see him, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's
Like
just
that's
at the
gonna
park.
help the case.
Exactly. Like,
if you were going to salvage the relationship, whatever, I mean, how did you think that was going to help his case?
Right.
That was so dumb.
exactly.
Well, I think she's just so conflicted. I think there's really, and this is the typical girl, right? That finds out that she's got a dirty dog. Part of her is eternally loyal and just like confused about who is he really to her. And
Right.
then there's this blatant evidence also, like, you aren't special to
Oh,
him.
right. Like,
So I feel
everybody
like-
gets a bracelet and a night at the
Yes.
Billboard, girl. Sit down.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think that's where her loyalty was teetering.
Yeah.
She still like loved him, but then she was like, but he doesn't love me back.
That
Yeah.
part.
You know.
Yeah.
I think I think that's a good point, and I think she can see that, and it could be, and I think it's probably a mixture of both. The bottom line is, just stop, because he doesn't love you. You need to stop riding for him because he's not riding for you, and don't steal any cars because you're gonna get
That
arrested.
is someone's car.
It is someone's
Someone's
car.
bummed.
It is
They
someone's
went to get their car.
I
right.
mean, it was a nice one,
a good
too.
What do you all think of Wolf's ex-wife? We were introduced to her. Is it Carrie or Kari?
Karis?
Karis.
Dr. Karras.
Dr. Karis. So we see that she is Sevvy's doctor. They're exes. So obviously Wolf is hounding her like the whole episode. Like, I need you to help me. I need you to help me. We find out that basically because that's the doctor, we find out he wants her to, drum up the alibi. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about her in particular. I feel like the story is going to be more so with her because they're exes. So we know Wolf is a pinnacle part of this show, being that he's the lawyer, Sevvy's attorney. But I think the fact that introducing her, I feel like we're going to see some background with them as far as like maybe why they got divorced or something like that. What do y'all think about her?
I think she's a non-factor now.
You think so?
Like, no, the alibi blew up in their face. They can't use it.
So you think that that's it for her?
So that's it for her. She probably won't even be shown on the show anymore. Thank you. You did a great job.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was just a bump in the road.
Yeah, exactly.
And then even with their marriage, he said, oh, she was hardly there. So even if we were to get some backstory on their marriage, he kind of crushed it right there.
yeah, and then they said that they were
6
only
months.
married briefly.
Yeah.
So
Said 6 months.
ain't that much history.
But
All right.
he's like the devil.
Yeah, he was so mad about her vitamin juice. He's like, yeah, your so-called vitamins.
You don't think that she'll have? Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
So do you
You're
think that
magic.
Wolf thought that they had a little something going on?
I think he tried to accuse her of it, but I think Wolf is just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Boom.
Yeah.
Straight
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
I think you're right.
Straight
I
like
don't
that.
think I don't think she really thought that, which is kind of why I felt and you guys disagree with me. It's cool. It happens very minimally, But I think that's why I think that she has something going. But you could be right. She could be a non-factor now that the alibi is out of play. But we'll see. There's a lot of characters that come kind of in and out. Speaking of characters that come in and out, we see Sevvy's ex, played by Robin Givens, back on the scene.
Jules to the rescue.
Yo, she's the real fixer. Like
She is.
She is right. I mean, he's literally paying her, to help him in his situation. We do see that Gabe, his son, gets into this, bar fight because, some guys talking to him about his dad. And we find out later that Jules was actually the one that orchestrated that whole thing. And under the direction of basically Sevvy, I need you to fix this. I need you to work this out. Because as we saw at the top of the episode, he basically, Gabe feels like he did it. He saw the
Right.
bruises on the girl that got murdered. But we see a little something with Miss Jules, and she's got Gabe in the room, and she does a little stroke of the hand on his leg,
Stroke of the
and
thigh.
right, and
Yeah.
it wasn't like motherly. I don't think it was nurturing. I think it was more of a sensual nature, if I say it like that. Do you guys agree with that?
I do agree.
Yes.
And I don't know why. feel like I missed out. Why?
We saw it in the previews before this episode aired. It was like, what was it, last week or the first show?
The first show.
Where
right,
we
she
saw
wasn't in the
previews
last
and we
week.
were like, what is really going on here? So I'm glad they finally brought it out now, where we saw the little caress or whatever. But I think Jules is Sevvy's fixer, and the other guy, Buck Neal, is Wolf's fixer. They both have a fixer.
True.
So he should definitely be on the winning side if they both have fixers. Maya doesn't have one.
Maya does not.
I have so many thoughts on her.
You should tell
On
him.
Jules. So many thoughts.
Well, talk to us.
I already was saying before we were rolling, I think it's just really interesting and smart casting that they chose Robin Gibbons, who's notoriously a battered ex-wife, to play the
Of a
role
celebrity?
of a battered ex-wife
Right.
of a celebrity and the mother of his children and all that stuff.
The parallels.
Yeah, which I think is really interesting. But I just thought it was kind of strange that Sevvy asked Jules to kind of fix this, because from what I understand, and maybe I have this chronologically wrong, but from what I understand, she's the first wife.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
And then he had his children with her, and then he married the second wife.
Which was murdered.
Which was
And
murdered.
the first trial
and
was
that's
about
her son. So
Right.
even though she's kind of a stepmom, she was never his stepmom.
No, she wasn't.
She's his step sibling's mom. So she was never like in a home with him or anything.
No.
So I'm just like, well, where does this
He's fair
relationship
game.
come with? Well, there's that too, I guess.
Right.
But like, I'm just thinking from Sevvy's perspective, why her? I just
Like
thought that was
what
interesting.
type of relationship would Gabe have
Yeah.
with the ex-wife that
Like, who
that
is
was
she to
already out of
him?
the home when he arrived? So
Yeah.
I get that.
I feel like that the fact that he asked her to intervene, with Gabe, there have to be some kind of correlation. Obviously, the fact that he's even fooling with her, being that she's kind of, twice removed, and as far as ex-wives go, that's what I'm saying.
I know.
So there has to be some correlation, because otherwise, why would he ask her? Because if they didn't really, like you said, live together or have any type of relationship,
Yeah.
then, there would be nothing for her to kind of do in that regard, because they were not close.
Yeah.
They have nothing left to
random.
do but flesh out her character. They're gonna develop her character. We're gonna get some backstories going on between her and Gabe, possibly some backstories between her and Sevvy, maybe even some backstories with Jules and the second wife. So I feel like that whole situation is going to get flushed out in later episodes.
You think so?
That
Well,
might
we-
make sense.
We also, he didn't have a mom for the past 8 years. So just if his step siblings report to this mom, I can only
Right.
imagine
Yeah.
that she would take him in too.
True.
So,
Yeah.
and
True.
if it really is Sevvy's fixer, then I can't see why she wouldn't do
Be
what she had to do to
involved,
fix
yeah.
it. Yeah.
But I just really, and maybe it's something that they're, are going to talk about more or show us more later, why she would be romantically, trying to you know what I'm saying? Like, because obviously for him to be comfortable, he's already comfortable with her. She said, hey, you can stay as long as you want. She's just trying to keep him, at bay. But to kind of like make moves on him or make a pass at him, I'm just like, what does that offer?
By the way, do we know how old Gabe is?
I mean, it seems like based on the character, how it's portrayed, is like he's in his like 20s, like early 20s.
Like college age.
Yeah.
So his mom had been dead for 8 years, right? So he lost his mom as a teenager.
True. Yeah, Sevvy brought him on. Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Ish.
So, yeah, because she already had him. I don't know. I mean, I just think it's just an interesting move, and maybe they're just going to set that up for later. My little hood prediction is that she is going to turn on Sevvy. Like, I feel like she is going to, even though she's like, I ride for you, anything you do or whatever, I feel like she's going to do something, because we've seen that this, especially with this episode, there's a lot of twists and turns. There's some places it went we didn't even think it was going to go.
Right.
So I feel like if she does turn on him, that would be the ultimate betrayal. He's already down on his luck. He goes to Wolf's office, wanting to beat his tail, and and Wolf's like, hold on, we can make this work. So I feel like it would be something else that was something against Sevvy. So I don't know. But I think we will see. When I just talked about that, we see that he goes in on him. But then, you know, he mentions Maya. He's like, Luke, we have to go after Maya. Maya's the culprit. Maya's the one. We have to go after her. This is what's going to happen. And then he tries to get the heat off of him. Do you think that Sevvy is going to get wise about how Wolf is? Because Wolf is really just trying to win the case. He cares nothing about Sevvy. Right? He's made that clear. Not necessarily Sevvy, but to his people. Do you think that Sevvy is going to turn on him at some point in time?
I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting, that big public display of violence towards him, though.
He was upset.
Yeah.
He was pissed.
But for someone who has abuse and murder allegations,
That part.
Right.
I'm like, that was an interesting choice.
Right.
It kind of has me thinking Wolf could possibly be the murderer of this one.
Yeah.
I mean,
he is evil.
Such a star player in this whole case. Like, he's so involved and so passionate and threatening people's lives already and willing to get his ex-wife involved. I mean, it's a ploy for him to get more millions out of Sevvy. And then they already think like it has to be Sevvy or whoever else they could find.
And he also
And it would never be him, right? Because he's the attorney. So
he also hit up Sevvy for another $1 million, remember?
Right, that part.
Which is what made him even worse.
Right. So he probably needs more money to continue his lavish lifestyle. I mean, you saw his office. And so I think that just kind of had my wheels turning.
Yeah.
That
would be a spin.
What do you all think about Lonnie? So we know Lonnie, she tried, to stop
I don't
reporting
think
to
at all
Wolf.
with her.
Yeah, I feel like she has this internal struggle, right? Because, of course, she went to Wolf out of spite, because Maya came back. So she went for the wrong reasons. Then she tried to get out of it. Wolf was like, nah, son, you staying right here. You helping me out. And so now we see that, with the sting operation, she was involved in that. Of course, it turned, which I blame Maya, because if Maya would have kept her mouth shut and not said anything, like, she could have held that. But
Yes.
I was mad at Maya. I feel like she's done good up until this point. Maya, you messed up. But now, of course,
time.
Wolf goes to her and is like, yo, I know what you did. I know you were a part of that. She's like, no, I wasn't. Do you think that she's going to somehow get out of this situation, Wolf, or she's just stuck?
I see her getting fired, actually.
Really?
Just because she can't seem to juggle it all. She's not doing a good job, so I feel like she'll get caught up soon. Between either, I don't think it'll have to do anything with the Wolf. I think they're actually going to bait her with the wrong information. Like telling a friend a
Tip
lie.
her and be like, wait a minute, nobody knew about this but us. And then she tips off Wolf,
That's smart,
and then they say, ho, we got a mole.
Boom.
So, I'm with you, Zuri.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I liked
can dig
the little, girl-to-girl talk she had with, why can't I think of her name?
Oh, you talking about with
mistress?
Maya? Oh,
Yeah.
with the mistress.
Yeah.
Oh, Dia.
Yeah, what she's talking about taking your power back. She had such conviction, and she was very upset. It almost implied she'd once had some sort of romantic relationship with Wolf.
You think so?
I don't
With
know.
Wolf?
Yeah, just how she seemed very it was more than just business or something.
I think she was gunning for Maya more than anybody else. She was trying to, create this camaraderie against Maya. I don't like the trick either.
Right.
And then, the whole empowerment thing.
Yeah,
how
that's
she
the
baited
part.
her with that. But I don't think it had anything to do with Wolf. I think she was trying to get her to go after Sevvy, which actually worked.
I see what you could be saying, how when she said, I think she was saying get her power back, because Wolf kind of gets a little physical with her sometimes.
It was definitely about Wolf. That part. The part about when a man takes your power and you're like, that was definitely about her relationship with Wolf. And she was relating it to her relationship with
And we
Sevvy.
saw that when she got in the car and she took that deep breath, because she looked like she almost lost her life there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it was very emotional, and it almost their relationship was more than what we just seen. I don't know that it's romantic, but it's weird.
Oh, that's
they have
a good
weird
prediction,
relationship.
actually.
Interesting.
They might have had a little something.
Something.
Which, what would she be thinking?
Right.
Yeah.
She is gorgeous.
Yeah. She is amazing. All right, I think it's time that we
slide that in there.
I mean, what? I'm agreeing. Come on, can I agree? So I think we should get into some news and gossip. Let's do that.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So Bethany, you did some research on some of these characters. Let us know what you found out.
Well, I don't even know how to say his name.
Triple A.
Sevvy. Triple A. We're calling him Triple A.
Yes.
Sevvy's character.
Yes, Sevvy's character. I was just looking into him. I thought he was a kind of interesting character, and I thought it was very cool to learn that what made me look into him in the first place is you can just hear a little accent every once in a while. Like he's trying to play an American, but sometimes you hear something, and I'm like,
no, I feel like that's a true European accent.
Yeah.
And he gets bloody often.
Yeah, like it's not even covered up.
I don't think he's trying to.
Overt.
Yeah, I don't think he's trying to hide it.
oh, I feel like he's tried to
Downplay
dull it
it?
down a little bit.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll hear it, and I'm like, what is he like? South Afrikaans or like British or Australian? Like, what am I hearing? So I started looking into him. It turns out he started out as a model in London.
Okay.
And then.
All right.
Oh.
I don't know what that was.
Okay. Go
And
ahead.
then he flipped the script and he went to law school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he went to King's College and got his master's in law.
Wow.
No big deal. It's like a super prestigious school. And then he also speaks 4 languages.
Ah.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know which ones?
He speaks English, Italian, Swahili, and the other one, I don't even know how to say it really. Yoruba?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Dope.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Dope.
So he's smart. And I think it's very cool that he's in a law. Like a show about law.
that deals with.
I'm sure it's
And he has a
very
law
cool
degree.
for him
Sure.
with his law degree.
Absolutely.
Well, maybe he can get himself out of this pickle.
Right, I know, right? Use his own.
needs more?
We had talked about this in the first episode that he had a pinnacle role in The Wire, so a lot of people know him from that show. Yeah, if they watch that. Wow, that's great. That's great. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
he's
for that.
interesting.
Thank you so much. Oh, sorry, I said the wrong show. Not The Wire. It was. Hold on. It was the prison show. I think it was Prison Break. Oz. Excuse me, Oz.
Oz,
So
yeah.
Oz. That's the show. Sorry, not The Wire. The Wire's an amazing show. But yeah, it was Oz. He was a pinnacle role. Simon was his name on that show. So a lot of people know him from that. But yeah, thank you for that information.
Yeah.
It's good to know about our characters. So I think right now we should get into predictions. Let's do that.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
We've been predicting kind of this whole panel.
We
but,
really have.
But it's cool. It's cool.
It was a great episode.
It was a great episode. It was a great episode. Bethany, why don't you start us off? What do you think of your predictions going into the next episode?
So many different directions. It's really hard to say. There was so much going on in this episode that I was like trying to think of predictions in all of the angles.
Right.
For so many people. I don't know, but what I would just say overall is I think Jules has something up her sleeve, and I think she's going to come up on top.
Okay.
And I don't know if I think she has a romantic relationship with Gabe. It's just a fine line.
You just think they're just messing with us?
I don't know. Maybe. I do. I think maybe a hand on
They're
the
trying to throw
thigh
us off.
could totally be a motherly thing, too.
Okay.
I mean, I would put a hand on, like, a kid's thigh if I was in a good relationship with them, you know, and it was, like, my friend.
A younger kid.
Yeah. Well, right. But, I mean,
Once he's past puberty, no thigh action.
yeah. But it was knee. She wasn't, like...
Okay. She's
north.
like, it was not femur. It was like the kneecap area, which is safe zone.
I mean,
It's the patella.
Right.
I also would wonder to find out if Jules and his mom became friends over the years. Because, you know, sometimes exes and new wives get a kinship, and they're both battered women, which also can form a
Create,
bond as
yeah,
well.
Common ground.
And their children were siblings now, so I don't know. I'm predicting to see something
Okay.
from her and just what she was in Gabe's life.
For sure.
Which isn't a strong prediction, to be honest.
Okay.
It's just what I'm more interested in.
No, I mean, I think, but you know, you're kind of fleshing it out, so that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Zuri, what do you got?
I predict we will see more of Dia.
Okay.
Although she was shipped off, I don't think that she's sharp enough to not stay away. And I think that Lonnie will get herself fired. If not, Maya will get her fired, and then she'll completely turn.
Oh, Lonnie will.
Yeah.
After she's going to completely
like employee of Ezra.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Interesting. What you got?
I think both Maya and Matthew are going to get themselves in trouble. We're going to have some love triangles going on. And I also believe that everything is going to go downhill from this point for Sevvy. I don't believe he'll be able to fabricate any more of these alibis, because if he comes up with another alibi, they'll just use this tape to show the credibility is gone between him and Wolf. Like, there was no alibi. So, yeah, I think everything's going downhill from this point for Sevvy. And I think there's about to be some smoking hot action going on between Matthew and Maya, the two M&Ms.
Okay. I agree with you on Matthew and Maya kind of just getting closer in that romantically. I think they have history. They're working together. I think it's going to happen. I also think that it's going to be interesting because we do see in the previews for next episode that Wolf's fixer goes and pays Riv a visit. The cowboy, which is going to complicate things extremely because she, of course, he, wants her to be with him, even though she's like, do your thing. But remember, he had the issue prior, like, oh, you still have this house in L.A., you never let it go. So how do you really feel about, being away? So, he already feels some kind of way. So now with the fixer going, I'm wondering what he's going to say, what's going to happen. Obviously, they're trying to damage this whole situation.
The
with
relationship between Riv and Maya.
Exactly. And so to mess up Maya, get her thrown off, maybe off the case, maybe. I mean, Wolf is smart. He's evil, but he's very smart. And calculated. Right. So I'm interested to see what happens with that. And if Jules is really trying to get with old boy Gabe. Like, I mean, that whole thing threw me off. It just threw me off. So I'm really just trying to see, if they're messing with us or if something's really going to happen. So we will see. But yeah. That's been our show. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, everyone in the live chat. We appreciate your comments.
Yes.
Make sure, as Zuri was telling you, make sure you give us 5 stars on iTunes. Also, when you watch this on YouTube, comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know your thoughts, your predictions. If you think that, we're all right on, or if you got, to disagree with us, bring it on. We want to know what you got.
Absolutely.
I have been your host, Lem Gonsalves, and you can find me everywhere at Lem Gonsalves. Also, you can check out on Thursdays. I am the host of the X on the Beach After Show. It is the second part of the reunion. We got 3 guests coming in. It's going to be crazy bonkers. So if you're into that kind of stuff, make sure you tune in. Angele, where you at?
Hey guys, you can find me on social media platforms at Angele Taylor _. I am also on The Walking Dead. That's coming up at 9 p.m. Please watch and get in the conversation there. I also do on my blog at 6 p.m.
Boom.
Hi everyone, I'm Zuri Chelise. I'm so happy to finally be joining this panel.
Yay!
Welcome, Zuri.
Thank you. And I'm also on Roseville, New Mexico on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m.
Word. Where you at, Bethany?
Hi guys, I'm Bethanie Jean. You can follow me on all things Bethanie Jean. Instagram is Bethanie Jean Official. And I don't know what I'm doing for shows. I'm bopping around.
Well, you're going to see you soon, basically, is what's happening.
I really enjoyed. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely.
It's so fun to guest in on this.
Joining. Absolutely. Thank you for joining. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. And next week, we will have a guest in the studio. So you make sure you want to tune in. Until then, we'll see you. Peace.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.